Good, good morning, graduates. Just a quick
will not be tamed.
It brims over with powerful ideas that again and again lead to potent action and real change. Since when? 6 decades long, it's been home to groundbreakers, change makers, planet shakers, and it's still going strong.
It's the home of forward-thinking higher learning, homegrown pride and a story still unfurling, independent thought which sparks innovation, mindful global citizens and their perpetual liberation.
Today, this is my home, my community, my springboard, my zone, like iron sharpening iron. Here, my potential is mined, my mind is refined, and my future redefined.
It's our time to learn from our past and our histories, to be the leaders of tomorrow's victories.
It's our time to stand up and step into our light.
To rise with Africa and all the world by our side.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, our graduands. Our graduation ceremony will commence shortly. And before we do so, we would like to share the following announcements and guidelines with you. In the event of emergency, please remain calm and follow the instructions of the safety officer and ushers. All cell phones and electronic devices should be switched off or placed on silent mode. Lavatory facilities are to your left as you exit the venue. Please refrain from moving towards the stage to take photographs or record the proceedings, as this is disruptive to the event and to other guests and graduands. Photographers are set up in the Student Center should you wish to take a family photo. Refreshments will be provided to you after the ceremony, and the ushers will guide you to where it will be offered. For our graduands, only doctoral graduands are required to have a cap. All other graduands do not require a cap, and should you have one, please leave it at your seat. Doctoral graduands are to keep their caps in their hands and not to wear them until their degrees have been conferred. Graduands, on the back of your seat is your name card that you must present to the Dean when you are at the podium. Make sure that you have your hood and that it is draped over your left arm with the flap to the front. University staff members will indicate when your row should move from your seats towards the podium. You will move to your right from your row. Take your name card and hood with you. Once at the podium, hand your name card to the Dean and stand on the black line that is on the carpet. Once your name is called, collect your card from the Dean and proceed to the Chancellor. Graduand, please kneel with the right knee on the bench in front of the Chancellor or Vice-Chancellor whilst they cap you. A photograph will be taken at this point. Proceed from there to the Registrar, who will place the hood on you. Face the audience and then leave the stage. Doctoral graduands, you will then place their caps on their heads. Should there be a graduate with the Registrar when you're approaching, please wait in front of the black line on the carpet that is close to the Registrar. This will allow the photographers to take the photo of the next graduate who is being capped by the Chancellor. When leaving the stage, go down the stairs, turn right and proceed down the passage where you will receive your certificate or letter of completion. Re-enter the hall from the door on your left on the ground floor and proceed to your seat. University staff will direct you. Graduands, please note that this is an important notice. Once you have had your degree conferred upon, please do not leave the hall with your guests, as it is disrespectful to other graduands, guests, and university officials. You may only leave once the ceremony has been concluded by the Chancellor. The academic procession will enter the hall from the center doorway towards the stage. The audience will be requested to stand and remain standing. The Chancellor will constitute the congregation. We will then sing the national anthem and encourage all to participate. Thereafter, a prayer will be conducted. An indication will be given for you to be seated. At the end of the ceremony, you are requested to stand and remain standing as the academic procession leaves the hall. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today to celebrate the achievements of the graduates.
Graduates, guests, can I have your attention, please? Our ceremony will commence shortly, but I would just like to remind our graduates, as well as our guests, that when you do receive your certificate, please return back to your seats. Do not leave the hall. It is very disrespectful to the other graduates who still need to receive their certificates. Can I ask you to please rise for the academic procession?
I declare this congregation of the University of the Western Cape duly constituted. Ndiyazisa ngasemthethweni le nhlangano ye-University yeNtshona Kapa. Ek verklaar hierdie vergadering van die Universiteit van Wes-Kaapland as behoorlik geconstitueer.
The national anthem will be led by Ms. Jessica Lee, and the anthem can be found on page 16 of the program. Please join us in singing the national anthem.
Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Please be seated. The university respects and recognizes all faiths, and in an effort to respect the major faiths observed by the UWC community, we have arranged for a spiritual leader from each of these to lead us in prayer on a rotational basis. This morning we will be led in prayer by Mr. Roderick George.
Good morning to you. Please let us pray. Magnificent God, we extol your greatness. We are here because of your profound goodness. We are here because of your abundant grace. You have crowned this day with your splendor and brought us to this day to celebrate the successful completion of journeys started years ago. Scripture denotes that many are the plans in one's heart, but it is the purposes of God that prevails. Thank you that these graduates and several others chose this institution as the place of hope to improve their qualification and make a meaningful contribution in the area of research. We honor you for their diligence, and we acknowledge the enormous sacrifice they, together with their parents, significant others, families, sponsors, mentors, and the academic community have made. As we celebrate the summer graduation, we thank you that the sun now shines bright with opportunity. Autumn and winter have gone, and we believe that the tide is turning for many of these graduates. Today, we also pray for our beloved DVC of Research and Innovation, Professor Franz, who attends her final graduation series at UWC, where she has served with distinction for more than 3 decades. Bless the path that she takes, bless her legacy, and that of those on which she leaves her mark. I also pray that you bless her new assignment, order her steps, guide her hand, and champion her cause. We ask for your blessing on this graduation ceremony. Bless every person who will participate in these proceedings. Bless especially the graduates who will walk across this stage today and tomorrow. May they step into greatness. May their strides be one of purpose, and may their ways be filled with the abundance you have prepared for them in advance. And may the joy that will fill the air be a pleasing melody to you and the heavenly hosts. O God, for you are great, and we forever praise your majestic name, now and forevermore. Amen.
I now call upon the President of the SRC, Macintosh Kasembe, to address you.
To the Chancellor, Archbishop Thabo Makgopa, to the Vice Chancellor in absentia, Professor Robert John Balfour, to the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Development and Support, Professor Matete Madiba, to the Deputy Vice Chancellor who is with us for her last procession of the DVC of Research and Innovation, Prof. Jose Franz, the Registrar, Dr. Lawton Nita Mizra, Deans of faculties, academics, honored guests, families, and most importantly, the graduating class of the Faculty of Community and Health Sciences, the Faculty of Arts and Humanities, and the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences. Today, I stand before you deeply aware of what this moment means for each and every one of you. I think that graduation is never just a ceremony. It is witnessing, living our ancestors' wildest dreams. It is the testimony of struggle. It is the testimony of discipline, of sacrifice, and also the power of telling our own story. Our own story. And that is the essence of my message here today. And my message to you today and the proposition that I bring is that our story must be told by us, not for us. You see, Program Director, allow me to just deviate for a bit. Just 2 days ago, we were visiting, I think it was a site inspection of all UWC buildings as the Infrastructure and Business Development Committee. And in our inspection, there's someone called Hardy here. If you don't know Hardy, I would advise you to go and meet Hardy. He works in public relations of this institution. I promise you that I was, after 4 years in this institution, I finally know that each and every building that you're in this institution has a meaning. It was only about 2 days ago that I actually realized something, and it's this. Do me a favor, when you leave this room, there is a statue of a domestic worker and a student that has just graduated. And that statue represents the joyous moment of the mother that is the domestic worker towards her child graduating. And when we engaged Hardy about this and what it means, he said that, well, this is a representation of what the working class means. And it's a representation of what we call ourselves, the University of the Working Class. And when you turn just adjacent to it, there's a pyramid. But just before you get into this pyramid, you'll pass just a small little bridge that I call it. And on your left, there's just an icon of that pyramid. That pyramid is an alumnus representation. So it means that when you walk out and you've graduated, you're looking straight adjacent to the pyramid that represents an alumnus. And that is a representation to say that when you leave this institution, you must leave this institution as a proud alumni of the university. You see, I realized something profound that day. UWC was never built to serve those who had power. It was built for those who were denied it. It was designed very deliberately to be a university for the non-white, for those considered unworthy of academic excellence. It was intended to be a footnote. But instead, we became a chapter. We became a chapter in resistance, a chapter in transformation, a chapter in possibility. UWC never accepted the story written for it. You know, Professor Jakes Conferral, this building that we're in that is named after him, he refused the script of limitation, and instead he turned this institution into a space of intellectual rebellion. Professor Brian O'Connell, the late Professor Brian O'Connell, refused the script of mediocrity and positioned UWC as a global force, reminding the world that the poor also think, and they think very powerfully. Professor Tyrone Pretorius, the recently retired Vice Chancellor, in fact, I met him just yesterday in the inauguration and the installation of the Chancellor of CPUT, Professor Brian Figaji. He carried that legacy forward, stabilizing the institution and affirming the dignity of every student who walked through these gates. So every generation of leadership has a common thing among every one of them that I've just mentioned, and the commonality is this: if they write our story, they will write us small. So we will write it ourselves. And here you are, the authors of a new chapter. Graduates, you come from communities where people believe in you even when resources fail you. You study through the load shedding, through the social weight of the systemic inequalities in the sector of higher education, and through the noise of leadership and hardship that tries to silence ambition. You balanced textbooks with responsibilities at home. You learned anatomy and all other difficult modules while learning how to survive in a university. You studied healthcare systems while navigating a health system and all other systems that often fails our people. So you arrive at this graduation today, not because the journey was easy, but it was because the story inside you was stronger than the obstacles around you. You see, in the tradition of UWC, you chose to define yourself, not to be defined. You chose to write your own narrative, not to inherit a damaged one. And this generation, your generation, walks across the stage at a time when South Africa desperately needs people who can think. It desperately needs people who can heal. It desperately needs people who can build. It desperately needs people who can lead. And it desperately needs people who can care. And it also needs people who are tall, dark, and handsome, 5'7", 75 kg, half Zulu, half Malawian, like me. But you see, the world looks at UWC and they see a university, but when we look at UWC, we see a heritage. We see a place that produces the impossible. We see a university like students has always had to work twice as hard to earn half of the recognition. And yet, UWC has produced ministers, UWC has produced judges, UWC has produced global scientists, world-class researchers, healthcare workers who are saving lives across continents. Community is rebuilt by its social workers, its nurses, its occupational therapists, its psychologists, its physiotherapists, and its public health professionals. We do not produce people who simply just graduate. We produce people who carry the DNA of resilience. People who, when they speak, You're reminded that UWC is not an institution that is born of privilege. It's an institution that is born of purpose. So I ask that when people ask you, what is the UWC way? Please tell them this. It is the ability to rise where others collapse. It is the refusal to be underestimated as an institution. It is excellence that doesn't ask for permission. It is leadership that is rooted in the concepts and the values of humility and service. And above all, it is telling our story with our own voice. So graduates, I'll not romanticize the moment that we're in. South Africa is going through a very difficult chapter, extremely difficult. Our healthcare systems, economic systems, our business systems are under severe pressure. Our communities are battling poverty, violence, mental health, gender-based violence, and all sorts of socio-economic issues. We live in a country where graduating is both a blessing and it is equally a burden. Because you step into a society that desperately needs what you carry. But this is the same country, may I remind you, that shaped people like Hamilton Naki, who performed surgeries he was never trained to perform. Dr. Mampele Rampele, who healed bodies and liberated minds. Dr. Zola Skweyiya, who lived for public service. So what I intend to say in this proposition is that this country has a way of producing giants from very unlikely and unfertile soil. And today, you join that lineage. Yes, that moment is difficult, this moment is difficult, but difficulty has never been the enemy of UWC. Difficulty is the environment in which we thrive here in UWC. So what do we do now? I think that we tell a better story. We cannot allow others to define UWC graduates as underdogs. We cannot allow narratives that reduce your degree to just a mere mortal. We cannot allow people to talk about our university as though we are not capable of speaking for ourselves. You, today, you inherit a mandate. I want you to tell our story. Tell them that UWC produces 52% of the continent's dentists. Tell them that UWC is the lowest fee-paying institution, yet rises above the top 5 in terms of output. Tell them that this university was one of the first universities that implemented its boycott resolutions against Israel when other institutions were shying away because of funding that they receive from Israel. You tell them that. You tell it loudly. You tell it without apology. You tell it with pride. You tell it through your work, your ethics, your compassion, and you tell it through your leadership. Because when a UWC graduate walks into a hospital ward, a clinic, a community, a research lab, a policy desk, they do not walk with a qualification. They walk with a legacy, and they walk with a story that they need to tell about the University of the Western Cape. You tell them that. So in the years to come, when someone asks you where you studied, please do not whisper. Tell them that you studied at the University of the Western Cape. Say this with your chest. I am a graduate of the University of the Western Cape. I want you to say it the way a soldier speaks of a battlefield that shaped him. I want you to say it the way a writer speaks of the chapter that changed her. I want you to say it like someone who knows that UWC is not just a university. It is a lineage of thinkers, fighters, healers, and dreamers. So let me end with this story. You know, a few months ago, I visited an elderly woman in Khayelitsha Registrar. It was during an outreach program in one of the organizations that I'm part of. And when I visited there and when I did the community outreach alongside with the other members, she had lived in the same 2-room house for about 40 years. If not, it could be more. Her health was very fragile and her movements very limited. Yet her spirit was unshaken. She reminds me of my mother and my grandmother. Yes, my late grandmother, may she rest in peace. Every time I tell my grandmother that I want to move her out, she's just one of those grandmothers where you tell them that I want to move you out of this neighborhood, and they're just stubborn. They say, I love this neighborhood. I won't leave. Same applies to my mother, and she actually reminds me of her. So as we spoke, she pointed to a very small, almost a fading photograph of her granddaughter in that wall. It was a UWC graduate in a blue gown. So that means she had graduated with a PhD in UWC. And she told me this, and I quote her, "You know, McIntosh, this university didn't just educate her, it gave this family evidence that we are capable." Then she said something that I will completely never forget. She said that when she graduated, the whole house got a new story to tell. Graduates, this is what today means. You're not walking into the stage alone. Your families are walking with you. Your communities are behind you. A whole history walks with you, and a whole future walks because of you. Your degree is not just a paper. It is a new story placed into the hands of people who have long been denied the chance to tell one. And now as you leave this hall, I want to leave you with just two very quick takeaways. Two ideas that I hope you will carry and imprint and archive into your minds and hearts, that you will carry into the world as authors of this next UWC chapter. Takeaway one: never let the world tell your story before you do. The world will define you by where you come from, not by where you're going. They will try to place limits on you based on your background, not your brilliance. And they will shrink the power of your degree because they underestimate the institution that shaped you. Don't let them. Speak first, position yourself first. Tell your story before the world drafts its own version. Lead the narrative, because when you speak with clarity, with confidence, and with a high level of conviction, the world has no choice but to listen. Takeaway two, which is the last one. Turn your level of success into a level of service. Your graduation is not the end of responsibility, it is the activation of it. UWC graduates are called to serve, to heal broken communities, to carry professionalism into neglected spaces, and to be the example of integrity where corruption is the status quo. It is to be compassionate in a world where it is growing colder and colder each day. It is to lift others as you climb. Your success must not end with you, it must echo beyond you. Because the true turnaround of our society will not come from policies alone, but from people. People like you who chose to be the hands, the minds, and the hearts that reshape this country. So go forward, tell your story courageously, and write a new one for the people who raised you. Go forward, serve very boldly, because your graduation is the beginning of someone else's hope. Class of 2025, in this December that's going to leave us very broke, I know for sure. In your festivities and your enjoyment, may your story be loud, may your service be lasting, and may your legacy be unmistakably and courageously the University of the Intellectual Left. Congratulations, Amandla, I thank you.
Chancellor Archbishop Makgobo, Vice Chancellor Professor Balfour in absentia, members of the executive and deans, colleagues from the academic, professional and support services, members of the SRC, students, families, friends, ladies and gentlemen, and graduates, good morning. Hi, Bo. Good morning. Sure, I'm nervous already standing here, and now you don't even greet back. The SRC president, through his speech, gave me permission this morning to tell my story today. Standing with you here, I'm reminded of why we do this work. Each graduate in this hall has traveled a different path to reach this moment, and none of those paths were easy. Graduation brings great joy and great pride. This ceremony allows us to recognize that the work and to honor the people who walked the journey with you. This graduation today also carries personal meaning for me. I'm that person they're talking about that's leaving after a long period of time. So after 30 years of service at the University of the Western Cape, this will be my final graduation season as DVC RNI. I am sincerely grateful to share this moment with you. I came to UWC as a first-year physiotherapy student in 1990. I never imagined then that this university would become the place where I would study, teach, lead, and grow for 3 decades. I completed my bachelor's degree here, I completed my master's degree here, and I completed my PhD here. I built my academic career here. My understanding of leadership, of resilience, and of service was formed within these walls. UWC has been my intellectual home for a long time and will always have my heart. As I look at you today, I see the same hope and possibility that opened the way for my own journey. Many of you arrived on this campus uncertain about what lay ahead. You worked through the difficult times. You balanced studies, work, and family. You pushed yourselves further than you believed you could. And now you sit here as graduates of a university that has never forgotten its purpose. A university that knows how to open its doors, to create opportunity, and to serve society. Your achievements remind me why UWC is such a special place. This university has taught generations of students that where you start does not determine where you end. It has taught us that leadership is not about a position. It's about intention. It is about how you use your skills to help others. And it is about the responsibility we carry as graduates of an institution built on struggle, built on courage, and built on hope. Over the past 30 years, I had the privilege of serving UWC in many roles. I'm not going to mention all of them, but the past 8 years, I served as the DVC RNI. At each stage of my journey, I learned from the people around me, colleagues who truly cared about students, researchers who pushed the boundaries of knowledge, and mentors who believed in what was possible. I have supervised many students, and I've learned from each one of them. Each one has taught me that research is not only about producing knowledge. It is also about building confidence, opening minds, and helping people see their own potential. Today, many of these students are leaders in South Africa and further afield. I've seen the strength of this institution in action. I've seen how our research responds to national and global challenges. I've seen how our postgraduate community expands every year, and I've seen how committed we are to transformation, to equity, and to creating opportunities for the next generation. These are real achievements made possible by dedicated staff and hardworking students. Before I close this morning, I want to share very meaningful research achievements from this year. At the National Research Foundation Awards this year, UWC was honored for our growth in research and postgraduate education over the past 5 years. This award confirms the progress we have made in building a strong and competitive research environment. This is a great achievement for a historically disadvantaged institution. Today, UWC holds around 18 Saatchi chairs, research chairs, which is about 8% of the national total. But next year, we have an additional 9 Saatchi chairs, taking us to 27. Do you think it stops there? Just last night, I got an email to say we will be getting an additional 4 Saatchi chairs, which takes us to 31 Saatchi chairs. I think we deserve a round of applause. For a university of our size and history, this is a huge achievement. These research chairs bring leading scholars, support postgraduate training, and show how excellence and transformation can move forward together. Graduates, you are now part of this story. You carry UWC with you into your workplaces, your families, and future studies. The world you enter will demand adaptability, compassion, and courage. You have already shown that you possess these qualities. Use them well. Stay curious, keep learning, and lift others as you rise. I want to leave you with 3 reflections that have guided my own journey. The first one is, be open to growth. When I began teaching, I never imagined to become the DVC. Growth often happens in unexpected ways. Say yes to opportunities that stretch you. Second, work with purpose. Leadership is not about titles. It is about the values that guide your choices. Integrity matters. Respect matters. Service matters. When you lead with purpose, people will follow. The third point I want to leave you with is build relationships. My career at UWC has been sustained by colleagues and students who became friends. My students became collaborators, my mentors who offered honest guidance. None of us succeeds alone. As you take your next steps, I want to offer you one final encouragement. Your journey with UWC does not end today. Well, mine might, but not yours. To our undergraduate students, we invite you to return as postgraduate scholars, to expand your expertise and continue growing with us. To our postgraduate students, we welcome you back as collaborators, as supervisors and future leaders who will drive research, innovation, and teaching at this institution. UWC will always have a place for you to learn, to contribute, and to belong. I carry with me 30 years of memories, lessons, and gratitude. I thank the UWC community, our staff, our students, alumni, and partners for supporting my growth in becoming the leader I am today. I want to thank our Rector and Vice-Chancellor for his support and for the privilege of serving this institution during an important time. I want to thank our Chancellor this morning, who watched me grow as a leader through the difficulties we faced as an institution. I want to thank my colleagues across the university for many years of collaboration and friendship and fights. UWC has been a home where people believed in me, believed in what I can do, long before I believed in myself. For that, I will always be grateful. Graduates, today is your day. Celebrate it fully. Honor your journey. Like the SRC president says, tell your story. Honor the people who helped you reach this moment and carry forward the values of this beautiful university. Wherever your path leads, remember that UWC remains your academic home. Come back to study. Come back to collaborate. Come back to help us write the next chapter of this university. Congratulations to each of you. Go into this world with confidence and courage and with compassion. And when you succeed, as I know you will, remember where your story began at UWC. Thank you and God bless. Thank you. An item in song will now be rendered by Jessica Lee. We ready to continue? Thank you. An item in song will now be rendered by Jessica Lee.
day I live, I long to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every game to taste the sweet. I face the pain, I rise and fall, yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. I've lived to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. I've made the plans, now lay the chance here in my hands. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. Oh, you're a winner for a lifetime if you seize that one moment in time. Make it shine. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will be
That was very special. It's for you, Prof. Frank. By authority vested in me, I shall now admit the candidates who are presented to me and the candidates who were not able to attend this ceremony to degrees, diplomas, and certificates in the university.
you need to come stand on this. Chancellor, the candidate Jonathan Hoyman will now be introduced to you. His citation is read by his supervisor, Professor Bradley Rink.
Jonathan's PhD thesis engages with and contributes to our understanding of the city and the urban condition. Framed by literatures on urban informal economies, infrastructure, waste in society, and urban mobilities, his thesis explores how street-based waste pickers in Johannesburg become entangled in the economic and social life of the city, not just through waste, but through their presence, movements, and modes of survival. His study makes an original contribution to knowledge through what he calls infrastructural placemaking, defined as the situated, improvisational, and often precarious practices through which street waste pickers co-produce urban space and place. He forwards an understanding of this concept both as a political and an analytical tool for understanding how street waste pickers navigate, shape, and are shaped by the urban form and urban life.
Jonathan? Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Jonathan Hoyman. Chancellor, the candidate Mpho Cynthia Motseki will now be introduced to you. Her citation is read by her supervisor, Professor Sisa Ngabaza.
Mpho's study highlights the perspectives of incarcerated men who have committed intimate partner violence, revealing complex contributing factors. It demonstrates how alcohol abuse and emotions such as jealousy, anger, along with issues of infidelity, and a lack of positive male role models, especially the absence of a father figure, and experiences of childhood abuse, play a role in their behavior. While they recognize that violence against women is unacceptable, these men often feel threatened by notions of gender equality, seeing it as a threat to their masculinities. The research underscores the need for accessible anger management programs in their communities, suggesting that many men could benefit. This work enriches the field of masculinity studies in South Africa and beyond, shifting focus from victims to male perspectives, where much of the focus has been on victims.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Mpho Cynthia Motseki. Chancellor, the candidate Kemi Oyebanji will now be introduced to you by her supervisor, Professor Sisan Gabaza.
Kemi's study provides valuable insights into the ways in which gender and other factors influence the reintegration experiences of trafficking survivors. Focusing on reintegration processes and experiences of trafficking survivors in Cape Town and Lagos, the study reveals that stringent rehabilitation processes at safe houses and centers can present challenges to those seeking to recover. The findings highlight the importance of family dynamics, including forgiveness, reconciliation, and acceptance, as critical elements in successful reintegration. Additionally, feelings of shame, guilt, and financial constraints emerged as significant barriers to reintegration into communities. By emphasizing the often overlooked voices of women survivors, this study contributes to the regional and global imperatives of fighting human trafficking and the development of more effective policies and interventions to support reintegration processes.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Kemi Oyebanji. Chancellor, the candidate Bonke Klakata will now be introduced to you. His citation is read by his co-supervisor, Professor Russell Kashula.
Isihloko sale thesis kaMnumzana Xakatha sithi uphengululo lobume besihobe kumaculo ecawe zemveli nezo zimeleyo zaseAfrika. Olu phando lunezahluko ezisixhenxe ezithungelanayo ukususela ekuqaleni ukuya kutsho ekugqibeleni. Owona mbandela uphicothwayo kulo luphononongo nophengululo lobume besihobe kumaculo ecawe zemveli nezo zizimeleyo zaseAfrika. Ukususela kwasekuqaleni kugxilwe ngamandla ekwaziseni uphando ukuba lungantoni ngokuthe gabalala. Injongo zophando, ubaluleka kwalo, uhlobo lophando oluza kuqhutywa ngayo, inkcazelo zamagama angundoqo kwanemvelaphi yezicawe zalamaculo ahlalutyweyo zivelelwe. Uluncwadi olumayela nomxholo wophanda nalo luphengululwe. Amaculo la kufumaneka kwiilwimi ngeelwimi. Lonto ikholekeke ekubeni ivelelwe nendima yoguqulo lwimi. Uguqulo lwimi ludakancwe ngokwezintlu ngeentlobo zalo kunye neendlela ezinxibelana ngayo, kwaze kwangenwa nzulu nakuthelekiso wala maculo achongweyo. Olu phando luthe lwazala iphepha kwijenali yeSeychelles. Inkosi Mhlekazi.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Bonke Klakata.
Chancellor, the candidate Estelle Bayers will now be introduced to you by her supervisor, Prof. Doza Vachi.
Estelle Bayers is awarded the degree Doctor of Philosophy for developing a contextually grounded and pedagogically innovative interprofessional educational instructional model for a historically disadvantaged South African institution. Her research, grounded in social constructivism, Ubuntu, and transformative learning, applied the analyze, design, develop, implement, evaluate model and the four-component instructional design model to create authentic, patient-centered, collaborative learning experiences. Her work advances interprofessional education and collaborative practice, strengthening graduate readiness, and promotes socially responsive healthcare.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Estelle Bayers. Chancellor, the candidate Charles Davids will now be introduced to you. The citation will be read by his supervisor, Prof. Nikki Roman.
Good morning. Charles' title of his thesis, A Community's Participation in the Development of a Community-Based Substance Abuse Intervention Program in a West Coast Rural Community, a Participatory Action Research Approach. Substance abuse is a major public health issue, particularly in historically disadvantaged communities, where access to intervention and treatment services is limited. This study aimed to explore and enhance community participation in the process of developing a community-based substance abuse intervention program in Lambert's Bay, a rural fishing town in the Western Cape, South Africa. The study used a participatory action research approach through 4 cycles, identifying community concerns, capacity building, situational mapping, and stakeholder collaboration to develop a sustainable intervention framework. Findings show that community engagement fosters ownership, while limited services, stigma, and geography restrict access. Early prevention, youth education, and multi-stakeholder collaboration addressing socioeconomic and environmental factors are essential for a holistic, community-driven response.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Charles Davids. Chancellor, the candidate Mujib Hussain will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by his supervisor, Prof. Nikki Roman.
Mujib's title of his thesis, The Development of Guidelines for the Inclusion of Spirituality and Spiritual Care in Unani Tib Practice. Traditional, complementary, and alternative medicine, TCAM, is rooted in spirituality and indigenous knowledge. Unani Tib, a TCAM system derived from Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, promotes balance between mind, body, and soul. Yet spirituality in education and practice remains undervalued. Using a two-phase, design-based research approach, this study developed 40 guidelines to strengthen spiritual care in Unani Tib. Findings show limited formal training despite practitioners valuing spirituality. Key aspects include spiritual history taking, spiritual care competencies, temperament analysis, and personal growth. The framework advances holistic, ethical, and contextually grounded care. The findings of the study were presented through multiple oral presentations at national and international conferences and disseminated in 5 publications in international peer-reviewed journals.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Mujib Hussain. Chancellor, the candidate Kyle Jackson will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by his supervisor, Prof. Michelle Andy Patton.
The title of Mr. Jackson's thesis is Exploring the Constructions of Masculinity and Fatherhood in the Context of a High-Risk Pregnancy, Utilizing an Ethnographic Grounded Theory Approach. 10 to 30% of pregnancies are considered high risk, yet men in South Africa are often excluded from reproductive and maternal health. Through an innovative, multi-method and online ethnographic grounded theory study, Mr. Jackson illuminated how high-risk pregnancy reshapes constructions of masculinity and fatherhood. Through the use of an extensive scoping review, in-depth individual interviews, a photo voice study, and a focus group with fathers, he developed a conceptual model to illustrate the constructions of masculinity and fatherhood. The study revealed the erosion and subsequent reconstruction of masculine identity during and long after a high-risk pregnancy, exposing critical, enduring gaps in health and policy. The study offers transformative recommendations for psychosocial, legislative, and healthcare reform that recenters fathers within the family unit.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Kyle Jackson. Mr. Jackson will be invested by his wife, Prof. Serena Isaacs. Chancellor, the candidate Juliet MacDonald will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by her co-supervisor, Dr. Henderson.
The title of the thesis is Rights and Responsibilities of Unmarried Fathers, a Model for Social Workers. Juliet MacDonald's thesis was to develop a mediation model for designated social workers during applications for parental responsibilities and rights by unmarried fathers in terms of Section 21 of the Children's Act 38 of 2005 in the Western Cape. She utilized an adapted intervention and development research design within a qualitative study with hegemonic masculinity and ethics of care as the theoretical frameworks. The findings revealed that the practices of social workers were grounded in traditional views on hegemonic masculinity, which emanated from the dominant patriarchal views of policymakers in the sector. Responsibility and competence within the ethics of care, which propagates fairness and equality, were compromised. A mediation model enhanced by caring masculinities is outlined and should be adopted by social workers when dealing with rights and responsibilities of unmarried fathers in the Western Cape.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Juliet MacDonald. Chancellor, the candidate Lumka Magidi Matiso will now be introduced to you. The citation will be read by her co-supervisor, Professor Phillies.
Good morning, everyone. Just before I read the citation, I just want to say, Prof. Franz, it was a real honor to co-supervise Lumka with you. The title of Lumka's thesis was developing guidelines to strengthen the human capabilities of parents with children with developmental disabilities. Lumka's doctoral research focuses on strengthening the support systems available to parents raising children with developmental disabilities in South Africa. Grounded in the human capabilities approach, the study used a robust mixed methods design that included a systematic literature review, qualitative interviews, and a Delphi study across 3 disadvantaged Western Cape communities. Findings highlighted fragmented healthcare services, poor coordination, high caregiver stress, financial burdens, and social isolation, while also revealing strong parental resilience and adaptive coping. The research produced practical, evidence-based guidelines tailored to the South African context and resulted in 3 scholarly publications that inform future policy, practice, and research.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Lumka Magidigidi Matiso. Chancellor, the candidate Mapoko Pindile Malema will now be introduced to you. The citation will be read by her supervisor, Prof. Jose France.
Pindile Malema's doctoral research addresses critical gaps in primary health care by advocating for telerehabilitation as a feasible way to support physical activity among patients living with type 2 diabetes, especially in rural and undeserved communities. Her study focused on developing evidence-based guidelines and implementation strategies for a telerehabilitation program in Ilias Mothaledi, Limpopo. Using an explanatory sequential mixed methods design, quantitative, qualitative, and a Delphi study, she identified high levels of comorbidity, good medication adherence, and very limited awareness of telerehabilitation benefits. Although public sector implementation shows strong potential, financial constraints remain a major barrier. Her work generated practical guidelines and 4 publications.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Mapoko Pindile Malema. She will be invested by her husband, Dr. Makaya Malema. Chancellor, the candidate Yolanda Mayman will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by her supervisor, Prof. Brian van Wyk.
The world stood still in the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. While health systems struggled to contain the pandemic and reprioritize service delivery, adolescents living with HIV were left largely unattended. Yolanda conducted a multi-phase mixed method study to explore the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on treatment outcomes and mental wellness of adolescents living with HIV, and also looked at vaccine uptake and hesitancy in the Cape Town metro. She reviewed the effects of the pandemic on the African continent and described adolescent service delivery in the Cape Town metro during the pandemic. Her photo voice projects illustrated how adolescents living with HIV felt vulnerable and disconnected during the pandemic, but also highlighted pockets of resilience. Her doctoral work produced 5 peer-reviewed journal publications.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Yolanda Mayman. Chancellor, the candidate Susara Nell will now be presented to you. The citation is read by a supervisor, Prof. Glynis Dykes.
Good morning, everybody. This study was co-supervised by Dr. Shanaz Kardelse. The thesis title is Best Interests of a Child in Parental Responsibilities and Rights Investigations, Developing Process Guidelines for Social Workers in Private Practice. The aim of SARI's study was to develop process guidelines for social workers in private practice in determining the best interests of the child in parental responsibilities and rights investigations. This qualitative study used an intervention research design with 3 cohorts: social workers in private practice, family law attorneys, and family law experts. Data collection methods included a systematic review, online focus groups, online interviews, pilot testing of basic process guidelines, and a Delphi study with national and international experts assessing the revised guidelines. The study's significance was the development of these process guidelines to align with the Children's Act, which were holistic, child-centered, and offered a structured and accessible framework for practice. Thank you.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Susara Nell. Chancellor, the candidate Shanae Pettinger will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by a supervisor, Prof. Brian van Wyk.
Adolescents growing up with HIV are challenged to handle the transition from pediatric to adult care in the HIV program. Shanae conducted a multi-phased mixed method study to describe the transition in the Cape Town metro and experiences and challenges of adolescents before
during, and post-transition. Her review of national health policies mirrored the significant gaps and inconsistencies in transition practices and low levels of transition readiness. Her Photo Voice project amplified adolescent voices and provide a basis for recommendation on how to improve transition practices in the Western Cape and South Africa. Her doctoral work produced 7 peer-reviewed journal publications.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Shanae Pettinger. Chancellor, the candidate Janine Senecal will now be introduced to you. The citation is read by a supervisor, Prof. Erica Munich.
Good morning, everybody. Janine's title of her thesis was the development of a scale to measure doctoral graduate attributes in the South African higher education context. Janine developed a doctoral graduate attribute scale, the D-Just-10, to measure doctoral graduate attributes in South African higher education. Guided by scale development theory, this multi-phase study integrated a systematic review, stakeholder interviews, and a Delphi study, resulting in a draft scale and 4 peer-reviewed published articles. The D-Just-10 includes 10 domains with 30 subdomains. The scale may be used to support student and graduate self-reflection, supervision, and institutional research. This work advances understanding of the comprehensive and transferable attributes doctoral scholars may develop to be active and creative problem solvers, researchers, and lifelong learners. In addition, Janine developed a framework for supporting doctoral graduate attribute development. I also just want to say thank you to Professor Franz, who walked the walk with me and Janine. Thank you.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Janine Senecal.
Chancellor, the candidate Heinrich Jantjies will now be introduced to you by his supervisor, Professor Richardson Champare.
Heinrich Jantjies' thesis entitled Value Creation Through Customer Experience, a study of a selected church in South Africa, investigated value creation through customer experience and the intention to revisit the religious servicescape in a selected church from 2018 to 2023. The study expanded seminal works by Bittner and Rosenbaum and Messiah by incorporating virtual dimensions of the ACSA model impacting the church. A constructivist inquiry employing mixed methods was employed. Findings revealed that congregates' perceptions of satisfaction and their revisit intentions are based on servicescape experiences. From these, some 23 strategic proposals were formulated to improve the servicescape experience through value creation and customer experience within a religious context.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Heinrich Jantjies. Chancellor, the candidate Shonisani Mpinyana will now be introduced to you by her supervisor, Professor Matthew Ocran.
Good morning. This thesis, entitled Essays on Economic Growth in South Africa, investigates the root causes of the country's low economic growth. Through rigorous econometric analysis, it highlights the critical roles of institutional quality, political stability, financial sector dynamics. The research underscores the need for structural reforms, improved governance, and greater financial inclusion to address persistent inequality, unemployment, and poverty, and to foster sustainable economic growth in South Africa.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on Shonisani Mpinyana.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Arts on the following candidates: Antonia Angelique Brown. Tonique Guzlain Kluter. Lydia Iyi, who will be invested by her husband, Professor John Mark Iyi. Congratulations. Taryn Lewis, cum laude. Anthea Oliphant.
Well done.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Arts in Creative Writing on the following candidates. Alia Price, who will be invested by her mother, Karima Price. Sarah Pridgeon, cum laude. Luco Witboy.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Arts in Psychology on the following candidates. Ntabiseng Lekaota. Genevieve Martin. Bernard Mabuza. Nonhlanhla Ngidi. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Psychology on the following candidates. Renee Bailey. Lisa Beasley. Faiza Kalfi. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Public Health on the following candidates. Nazreen Khan. Nozuko Ndlekeza. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Science in Occupational Therapy on the following candidate, Akil de Vries, magna cum laude. Chancellor, I request you to confer the postgraduate diploma in interprofessional education in health on the following candidates. Marcel Fezou. Mochedisi Motlatlo. Jamie Salsa. Chancellor, I request you to confer the postgraduate diploma in child and family studies on the following candidates. Amy Lee Klutter. Bonani Gandilanga. Sinomta Kobokana. Boitumelo Mofolo. Zico Roy. Nokulinda Seku. Pindokutle Songelwa. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science in Occupational Therapy on the following candidates. Nuranaz Bakas. Cum laude. Akila Kaji, cum laude. Luane Extine, cum laude. Daniela Abrahams. Akila Ahmad. Edley Amsterdam. Emma Basson. Zoe Broff. Caitlin Braga. Is it Diane? Diane Berger. Tina Kara. Nasif Kasim. Ngobile Triko. Nikita Cook. Zara Davids. Sunik Mishka Ehlers. Zara Fakir. Silindo Kuchle Gadla. Sibabalwe Gesha. Sinolwetu Gogwana. Sibongo Kuchle Gumede. Emily Hintz. Iman Ismail. Kelly Jacobs. She will be invested by her mother, Mrs. Sandra Solomon. Collins Juju. Jamila Kahar. Amy Kinsley. Nonhlanhla Kajone. Nontando Koza. Michelle Moss. Nonsikelelo Maduma. Tokozile Majazi. Adronica Roberta Masibutela Malale. Zandile Malaki. Iganati Makolo. Inganati Makolo. Marsha Mhlekazi Matebula. Sisipo Matrose.
You can say Fiki Somsong.
Fikiso Mhlongo. Is it Mine? Mine. Basetsane Mine. Danae Narker. How do I say that?
Kwazi Wenkosi and this one Ndebele.
Kwazi Wenkosi. Kwazi Wenkosi.
Yes.
Kwazi Wenkosi Andiswa Ndebele. Sineletu Ndevu. Nokwanda Ndwandwe.
Siwinile Immaculate Ndebe.
Siwinile Immaculate Ngema.
Yongama Nyebe.
Yongama Nyebe. Kalen Pedro. Devonay Philander. Alana Prin. Bianca Ravel. Leah Sheridan Ribeiro. Saskia Ringquist. Liana Roman. Amioli Sabelisiva.
Naima Alicia.
Naima Ali Siad.
Just Yasmin.
Mia Smith. Hannah Zapira. Tina Nyekela. Emihle Tiak Lekile. Khadija Vali. Ashley van Pletsen.
It's Danielle.
Danielle van Wyk. Sonique. Sonique van Wyk. Charlton Pfister. Samantha Watkins. Nasima Wolmarens. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science in Dietetics on the following candidates. Artika Samuels, cum laude. Dina Turner, cum laude. Anine van Sittert, cum laude. Pedrone Adams. Zanel Achenbach. Clarisha Damon.
I'm Valerie Hudson.
Valerie Fodson. Kaylee Hanakum. Muhammad Jabbar. Muhammad Shaid Jabbar. Onwabile Kweleta. Zinhle Lunguza.
Dando Nokukanya Maisa.
Ntando Nokukanya Maisa. Ramatabata Tumisho Matlela. Gracious. Maposa.
Just talent Maposa first.
Talent Maposa.
Tobeka Tobile Mapumulo.
Tobeka Tobile Mapumulo. Millie Mapling. Nelisiwe Mavimbela. Raisiti Atlechang Mazwi. Tando Mhlongo. Mpole Entle Mkonto. Caitlin Mowat.
Linamandla Lianda Moyo.
Linamandla Lianda Moyo. Lesedi Mueller. Nolutando Ndlovu. Shailet Njemla.
Oyama Nkita.
Oyama Nkita. Ngobo. Yola Ngobo.
Nozipho Nchakala.
Nozipho Nshakala.
Mchongwana.
Siwapiwe.
Yes.
Siwapiwe Nshongwana. Tato Nsomi. Daniel Osler.
Tebello Erika Khadebe. Khadebe.
Tebelo Erica Khadebe. Hume Schroeder. Schroeder. Hume Schroeder. Sasekile Shivambu. Misha van den Heever. Van der Westhuizen. Sorry, say your name. Kiolebohile van der Westhuizen. Haley Wenzel. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Social Work on the following candidates. Dakira Abbas. Cum laude. Leonardo Jacobs, cum laude. Akifa Samai, cum laude. Kelsey Abels. Chloe Abrahams. Kauthar Abrahams. Gretchen. Gretchen Alexander. It's Andreas.
Ashlyn Chelsea Andreas.
Ashlyn Chelsea Andreas. Harriet Rebecca Francesca Bantam. Liana Bester.
Michaela Lee Botman.
Michaela Lee Botma.
Carol Angela Boucher.
Carol Angela Boucher.
Please do both names.
Candace Reynolds.
Candace Lauren Reynolds.
Candace Lauren Brenners.
Noma Pote Bukwangu. Bukwangu.
Bukwangu.
Yes.
Noma Botwe Bukwangu. Sinalo Itemba Buyana. Andisiwe Kabuko. Chloe Cedrus. Sandy Claassen. Zara Kutsia. Francis Daniels. Sive Nomvula Ntipingonzo. Nonjabulo Ngladla.
Sinead Dominique.
Shanae Dumini. Amira Ibrahim. Lauren Fisher. Lucinda Fisher. Lauren Gallant. Roshni Gardiner.
Are you sister? No, cousin.
Okay. Tara Gardiner. Avuziwe George. Jabulile. Jabulile Gladile. Jonna Lee Griffiths. Konaye Guela. Mishka Jagger. Melissa Jonas. Sipiwe Koboka. Rulene Lewis. Deirdre Louise.
It's Kiara Lucas.
Kiara Lucas.
Thank you.
Zandi Madikane. Kulekani
Captain
Magagula. Kulekani Captain Magagula. Tammy Alvis Maseko. Ntombi Ziko Matafeni. Ezemvelo Ndludlu. Maxine Mayer. Sunny Boy Hotatso Modungwa. Kuma Mpiko. Somikazi Mchuchwana. Magdalena Mwaba. Akona Nene. Tandazo Nkuna. Aluloto. Aluluto Nonchibongo. Portia Nguelo. Tina Nzima. Jamie Lee Paulsa. Reese Peterson. Kamohelo Halwana. Chelsea Pipers. Danica Riley Rapitza.
Simon Rasul.
Simon Rasul. Kimlin Rudolph. Lebohang Matome Joel Sako. Hannah Salasa. Andrea Sass. Kezia Skippers. Keisha Schultz.
Yes,
Luto Siku. Rodine Swartz. Queen Emihle Taliwe.
Queen Emihle Taliwe, yes.
Got it. Queen Emihle Taliwe. Dipuo Tamaga. Wade Alex Thomas. Lizandre Twig. Sipokazi Tiabule. Mongikazi Nyasi. Tiasi. Mongikazi Tiasi. Tamron van der Merwe.
Dalton van Rijn.
Felton van Rijn. Liesel Williams. Cesare Michaela Wiles. Lulama Kobiso. Zinka. Zika. Cassidy Zika.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master in Public Administration on the following candidate, Afton Koopman. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Administration on the following candidate, Linda Kushle Mabaso.
More than one.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Arts on the following candidate. Babongile Bidla.
More than one.
Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Commerce on the following candidates. Clinton Hervel. Ian Johnson. Lucan Buerta. Namonde Zama. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Development Studies on the following candidates. Safa Abdul Salam. Mbasa Mguye. Sipelele Ntongambini. Nombulelo Shinta. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Master of Poverty, Land and Agrarian Studies on the following candidate. Tetelo Maila. Chancellor, I request you to confer the postgraduate diploma in accounting on the following candidates. Tariq Badat. Tegan Bennett. Chehofatso Delemeng. Sifiso Dingibo Gile. Chantal de Toy. Wade Itson. Justin Hurling. Ryan Jacobs. Mandisa Kota. Rida Low. Nakampe Mahasha. Nontobeko Mahamata. Nosipo Maraba. Tabang Matlaile.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? The owner of a vehicle, silver Mazda, it's a CX-5. The registration number, CY301518. Please go to your vehicle immediately. CY301518. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ilham Morris, who will be invested by her mother, Dr. Turia Morris. Menelisi Ndaba. Sipo Ngoveni. Sinazo Nkoka. Kenosi Ntakana. Olona Niki. Michaela Peters. Abram Koba. Leah Said. Mahir Sambo. Fahira Siddiq. Shakespeare Sibanda. Bongiswa Similane. Kioagile Sitole. Zwivuya Takalani. Oratilu Tuane. Joseph Umegbulu.
Before I dissolve this congregation, I'm going to ask you to please help me to congratulate the academic staff members, the administration, the executive, the cleaners, and everybody that has enabled those that have graduated today. Please, let's give them a round of applause. And I want those that have graduated to please stand with your degrees and just find a significant other and just wave and say thank you. Please stand, stand. And finally, I'm going to ask those that are on stage to please join me as we give thanks to Professor Franz for 3 decades of service to this wonderful institution. And I'm going to ask her to sit down as all of us give a round of applause, please. This congregation of the University of the Western Cape is now dissolved. Le nhlangano ye-University yeNtshona Koloni ngoku ifikeleleni esiphelweni. Hier vergadering van die Universiteit van Wes-Kaapland word nou verdag.
wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing they wishing on me. Yeah. I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story was different with me. God's plan, God's plan. I hold back, sometimes I won't, yeah. I feel good, sometimes I don't, hey, no. I finesse down Western Road, hey, next. Might go down to G.O.D., yeah, wait. I go hard on Southside G, yeah, wait. I make sure that Northside eat. And still, bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing they wishing on me. Bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing they wishing on me. Yeah. Hey, hey. I only love my bed and my mama, I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81, they'll bring the crashers to the party. And you know me, turn the 02 into the 03, dog. Without 40 Ollie, there be no me. Imagine if I never met the broskies. God's plan, God's plan. I can't do this on my own, hey, no, hey. Someone watching it close, yep, close. I've been me since Scarlet Road, hey, road, hey. Might go down as G.O.D., yeah, wait. I go hard on Southside G, hey, wait. I make sure that Northside eat, yeah. And still, bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing they wishing on me.